Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pro Football Alliance show. I am your host, Dirty. Tonight in our panel, we have Frankie from USFL Forever and John Turner from A Football World will be joining us to talk USFL, XFL, and all of that good stuff. Since John's not on right now, I'm going to bring our esteemed co-panelist Frankie from Forever USFL YouTube channel. How are you, sir?
I'm all right. And how are you, Dirty? How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. My sinus infection is finally gone. I'm actually able to enjoy a cheap plug here from Mother's Brewing Company. They gave me this fine establishment summer ale, which is called Lake Break. It's actually not very bad.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling better because I was sick too.
Most ales taste like dog shit. So I have a question. I see our producer Arlington's on here. So welcome back to our producer Arlington. What's up with that? I gotta bring Arlington on real quick. Arlington, turn that mic. Arlington, what's up with Frankie's hair?
I don't know, man. But
it's weird looking, ain't it?
Listen,
it's different.
It's called a Guatemalan cheap haircut. Okay,
I'm not going to even do that.
No, I'm in Guatemala. I've been living here for 5.5 years. I decided to get a haircut, and I told the guy, "Hey, listen, I just need a number 3 on the sides and short at the top." Well, this is how short he went. So looks like it's a bad one. But hey, listen, we all get bad haircuts once in a while, so I'm okay with it.
Understood. Hey, nothing against you for that, man. Nothing against you.
Yeah. I guess the Pro Football Alliance show is brought to you by Pack 22. Call Matt Eddington as you see the numbers scrolling right there along the bottom. We are powered by Cafe Piazza, 1900 Arsenal Street, and the We're St. Louis phone line. You see all of that being right there. So, Frankie, let's really get into it. 2 weeks ago when we did the show, we had Michael Dreyer on.
And the most popular show.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people really took well to Michael, and he changed a lot of people's opinion about his time running the USFL. Let's get your take on that real quick. Well, I mean, what did you think? Because I mean, for a while, you said you had a bone to pick with Michael, but after the interview, what did you think? Did he change your mind or what?
Well, look, Dirty, I look at it this way. The man came clean. I'm not going to harp on something that happened years ago. It's done. It's over with. Whether you believe him or not, that's up to the people who saw the show. All I know is one thing that I'll give Michael credit for is that at the end of the day, it's look, I made my mistakes. I'm moving on. I apologize for it, but I thought it was genuine. I thought it was great content. I thought it was back and forth, and then all of a sudden we came to an agreement. We finally got to where we needed to be, and so I wish him nothing but the best. I hope the ASFL does launch. Do I believe it's going to? No, but it's this man's dream for the last 20 years to launch a spring league, and I wish him nothing but the best. I'm not going to trash him. But I thought it was great content. We will have him in the future though, because there's some finished business with another individual, but I'll keep the audience at bay for now.
It's gonna be exciting, that show coming up with Michael and the other guests that we'll have coming on. But a lot of news with the USFL. The USFL, we are literally just a week away from the kickoff of the USFL. And according to USFL reports from Fox, they're at 25,000 people coming to the first game. Now, my question to you, Frankie, is are they really at 25,000 for that first game? 25,000 whole win. Me, hope it is for the first game, but do we really know yet?
I've
What's
been
your take
searching
on it?
online. I went online and put in how many tickets were sold for April 16th. I can't find anything. And I am good on Google and searching things, but I even went and tried to see if I can buy tickets, pretend to buy tickets to see, you know how they show you the stadium and they show you what seats are available. Well, when
Uh-huh.
I went in on their Ticketmaster thing, it didn't tell me what seats were available. It chooses it for you. And so that's why I'm very
Correct.
skeptical as to, like you, is it 25,000 for the 16th on a Saturday, or is it total? If it's total, that's not good.
Well, I mean, now here's the question, though. I mean, I get everything up, code and stuff up, right? The stadium fits what that stadium probably fits close to 40,000,
Correct.
right?
Hmm.
Wouldn't you think? Okay.
Yeah, it's about
So,
40,000.
I mean, here, if you go right, like here, I'm on the USFL website, and the first game is the Generals versus the Stallions, which is awful funny because the Generals, for their very first draft pick, Ben Holmes, has been cut due to a broken foot, and they just re-signed Luis Perez as their starting quarterback.
Not
So
bad. Not bad.
it's very interesting. No, not bad. I mean, here's the thing I'll say about the USFL. It's $10 tickets, and kids under 15 are free.
Mhm.
Now, that you're giving away some money there if you're giving away tickets to kids under 15. Now, I wonder
I
if they got to be with a parent or what.
I just
That's
think
the main
Fox,
question.
since they're doing the bubble, they probably saying, "Look, we're gonna lose some money the first year, but when we go into their own cities, into the own cities that
Mhm.
we have, then it's different." But I think Fox is conceding that, hey, they're gonna lose some money the first year because it's a bubble. But I kind of was curious because when I went to the USFL Facebook page, I saw a video of one of the Generals players saying, "Hey, come out and see us on 16th. Get your tickets." And I thought that was kind of strange that at the last minute they would have a player, kind of like, "Hey, join us." Like they should have done that from the beginning.
Well, listen, I agree with you on that one. I think that the way the USFL has handled their entire social media platform has been terrible and slow. As Jared says right here, he says that it's first come, first serve seating, and then up to 3 kids allowed per seat, or I guess so. I mean,
They're
it's
trying
kind
to
of
fill up the
reminding,
bottom part first and then work their way up.
I guess, but it's kind of reminded me of the what's that other league that's coming here in 2023 called the XFL, who really hasn't done a whole lot of social media presence. Oh, and then look at this. He has returned. Frankie, our prodigal son, has returned from his deathbed. He looks shittier than ever.
As long as he doesn't show that profile of his. No
Right.
pictures today, please. No, no pictures. No pictures.
Okay.
I get
Might
nightmares
have a
seeing that
louder
picture.
mouth.
That little what do you call that? The little pose, like from the 1970s. I mean,
Where he's got a tongue sticking out, looking like the porno star or whatever it is.
yeah, it looks
Mr. John
weird,
Carter
man. That
from a
picture
football
looks
world.
weird. There's something about that picture that kind of traumatized me. I don't know why. I love you,
Right. How are
John,
you?
but you're weird.
I'm fine. How are you guys?
We're good.
I'm all
So,
right.
how's COVID? Are you better? You done with the COVID and all that?
COVID, I don't think I have COVID this week, but you never know.
Okay, well, good. Glad you're out of COVID. So,
You
John,
know.
what we were just talking about was the USFL. We're less than a week away from the kickoff for the season. They've said that they've sold 25,000 tickets. Now, I posed the question to Frankie: is that 25,000 for the first game, or 25,000 for the whole weekend? What is your take?
They said it's for week one or just 25,000 tickets.
They
That's
just
the
said
problem. We don't know.
25,000 tickets. Nobody really knows.
That could be just for the whole season so far.
Well, they said 25,000 for week 1. They haven't specified if it's for the home opener. Right. They haven't specified if it's the home opener or if it's for the whole season.
Well,
or if it's for the first game.
When I went to the Birmingham Iron Apollos game, I want to say the attendance was somewhere around 18 or 19,000 for that particular game. And one of the locals that I was talking to said that every game had kind of been around that crowd. But he seemed to say there would have been more people here today, except it was right in the middle of their hurricane or tornado season or whatever they have down there in Alabama that we don't get here.
Right.
But he said that they were around that same size capacity every week. So, I mean, I'm going to assume 95 or more % of the people in the stadium are going to be local Birmingham-ish people. So I'd expect that number to go up. There's going to be a lot of people just show up and buy a ticket at the gate. You know what I mean?
I agree.
It's hard.
Right. Well, so here's the thing that they're saying. No, go on, because I'll finish up after what you're saying. So go on.
Oh, I'm just saying it's hard. Like that that guy that I was speaking to, this guy was like a season ticket holder, and he's bought tickets for every Birmingham professional league that's ever come through there, including the college games that played at Legion Field. So that guy's going to be there. But I mean, to get people revved up about week 1, 4 games going on across 2 stadiums, and that's a lot of bleacher time you're asking people to spend. So I think people are going to pick and choose which games they attend kind of a little wiser. It's not exactly the boomingest of economies that we're in the middle of right now either. So I think it's kind of on the back burner until they see something. They see them stay in business for week 2.
Right. So now I pulled up their ticket, like Frankie, like you said, it really doesn't give you an option of where to pick your seat at, right?
Right.
It's just a general admission and then a premium general admission. So your general admission is $10, and then your premium general is $25, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's still a lot of seats open at Progressive Stadium for our protective stadium for that first game with the Generals versus the Stallions. So I'm saying, here's what I'm going to say. By what I'm seeing, I'm going to say, and you guys tell me if you guys disagree, I'm going to say 25,000 is what they've sold. That's the way I'm going to say it. Would you guys want to disagree by what I've looked at or what we've seen so far?
I don't, Dirty, because think about it. If they sold out, or if they're close to selling out, they will promote that crap like crazy. They're keeping it kind of under wraps.
Correct.
And so, to me, if you had exciting news that, hey, the first game is already sold out, you can't get any more tickets, then it'd be a different story. But to me, I just think, like, when I'm going to buy a ticket, and I've done this before, I'll go to Ticketmaster, and they'll say, choose your seat, and they'll give you the seats that are open. And the ones that are already sold, you see it.
Frankie,
but you don't see it on this site.
Frankie, I'm going to stop you. You'd have thought John would have had this all ready to go before he came on.
God.
Would you not? Would you have thought?
He does it again.
God, John. No wonder why you make it look like an amateur hour.
It was dark in here.
I just can't do it. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. I just can't. I just can't. I'm sorry. I just can't. I just cannot do it. My producer knows what I'm talking about. I can't do it. I can't. I'm sorry.
Premium?
I can't.
What does premium general admission give you? A bottom of the cereal box prize or a keychain, or what do you get with that?
It doesn't say. That's the thing, is it doesn't say what it gives you. So there's no telling. I mean, hey, maybe it gives you your seat, that you get to take your seat from Protective Stadium. Maybe. Who knows?
I was thinking maybe if you've been to Legion Field, they've got like this chain link fence around it that separates the track and field track from the lawn. All right, and it
So
goes
maybe
around
maybe like the old Brown Stadium.
Well, I think that you'd be able to maybe stand on that track and kind of maybe get a couple autographs before the game. Maybe they're going to take 15 minutes and have the players sign a few gadgets over the fence after the game, perhaps.
Okay.
And you can kind of float around. You can go from the home side, just walk around the track, and you're on the visitor side. I think that would kind of be something to justify $25. Maybe they'll even let you watch the game from that spot, although you have to be looking over the shoulder pads of dudes that are 6 foot plus with equipment on. So yeah, it's easier said than done. But I got to stand down there for the Iron game for a little while, and they'd let you stand down there for about 5-10 minutes. But if you were holding that spot hostage, they'd ask you to go back up in the bleachers. So I mean, we'll see. Or maybe the first 12 rows or something are going to be premium. You know what I mean? You never know.
And also, too, payday in the States is on the 15th. So people, you don't have to pay rent. Basically, the paycheck for people who get paid on the 15th is usually for entertainment. I used to do that all the time. I used to go to the Tampa Yankee games all the time. And on the 15th, I got paid. The game would be on the weekend, and boom. And I go buy a ticket. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a surge, right before Saturday's game, a surge of tickets, and people are just curious and come to see a game on a Saturday afternoon because maybe, hey, you know what? There's nothing else to do.
Now, look, I'll give it to you like this. If you're talking $10 for a seat and I'm in that area and I'm a football fan and it's a Saturday afternoon or whatever, hell, I'd do it. I'd pay the $10.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Tampa Yankee games were $20, and I used to do it at the last minute. Let me go to a Tampa Yankee game.
The
$20 for a Yankee game. Is that what you just hold on, John?
Tampa Yankees was $20. Yep, $20. Tampa Yankees.
You do just realize you just showed how old you are by saying that, right?
What are you talking about? This was like when the last time I was in the States. I lived in Tampa for 25 years. It was $20 to go to a Tampa Yankee game.
I've never seen a Yankee game going for $20.
Tampa Yankees, not New York.
Yeah.
Okay. And hey, John, do you pick this time to eat? Seriously? Oh my God!
I had a couple of Hot Pockets, and they were really good. I haven't never had the ham and cheese flavor.
Only John would eat during the show. Only John.
I'm hungry.
Well, of course, yeah.
Now the Baltimore Orioles.
No, go on, John.
The Baltimore Orioles had a. You could walk up on game day and buy the general admission for $3, and that's the
you can still do that today.
Probably, but they if you've ever seen an Orioles game, an Orioles home game, in right field they have the scoreboard. That, you know what I mean, and it's like they've got that building. If you hit the building with a home run, you win a car or something like that. Well, anyway, that's where the standing seats are. So that's where you get to stand if you wanted the walk up $3 ticket. It's kind of neat though. They got barbecue grills going. You can buy, big hot dogs and pulled pork stuff right there in right field, and then turn around and the game's going on. But you don't actually get a seat. So maybe they're going to do something like that, for the general admission where, you can either sit up there and, take plenty of handkerchiefs with you, or you can stand around the track.
In Baltimore, after the first week of the season, there are no fans, so you can sit anywhere you want. You can come in the 7th inning and sit in the front. I see some of those games where no one shows up.
It's true. They have the worst attendance in the league.
Right. Okay. So let's really look at it. So the first game will be April 16th, which will be broadcast on Fox, NBC, and Peacock. It's the Generals and the Stallions. Now, we were all very high on Ben Holmes when he came in for that, right? Now Ben Holmes is gone. Bring in Luis Perez. I can't remember who the Stallions – I see he's on here, so I know the XFL insider, Will Freeman, is right there. I know he's followed this shit left and right, so if Will wants to join, he knows where to click that link. I can't remember who the Stallions QB was. Does anybody remember?
No, forgot. Number 8, I believe it is. I can't remember.
All I know is number 10 is the Tampa Bay Bandits, and that's the
Jordan
throwing.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, okay. Jarrett says right here, Alex.
Yeah, it's a Mr.
Alex
Magoo.
McGough, I think. And
Mr. Magoo.
Yeah, it's Mr. Magoo is their quarterback. So it's going to be interesting to see the TV ratings for that show, right? And what that does. And then you get a triple header on the 17th, which will be the Houston Gamblers and the guys who lead in social media presence, the Michigan Panthers. They're at noontime Eastern. Then you got the Philadelphia Stars and New Orleans Breakers at 4 p.m. And then you got the Tampa Bay Bandits, which is the team that unfortunately I'm rooting for because they have a lot of former Battlehawk players on there. With the Maulers at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern time. Now, one ticket. Now, here's the question. You guys ready for this? So one ticket will emit a fan for all 3 games.
Wow.
So just make
a ticket on Saturday. Right. But that's what I'm saying. So you buy that ticket on Saturday, you get there at noon, you could sit there till 10 o'clock that night watching a game if you want to.
Yeah.
If you got nothing on.
It's a smart move. You're not going to get – you got baseball that came back because the strike or the lockout, whatever they call it, is over. And now basketball is winding down, heading towards the playoffs. So is hockey. So – it's a smart move. Listen, I believe Fox knows they're going to lose money the first year because it's a bubble. I would have preferred, though, what they did in the XFL, what Vince did. He had 2. Not Vince. What do you call it? The TSL. They had 2 sites where it was in Indianapolis, and I believe the other one was in Houston. So I would have preferred that. Maybe if they would have done it that way, it would have been a little bit better. But they chose to do all these teams on 2 stadiums. I don't know. Like I said, it's a smart move because they know they're going to lose money.
So now here's the question, though, because it's not saying us which stadium that the team playing in, right? So let's just say that the Gamblers and the Panthers are playing at Protective Field, and then the Stars and the Breakers are playing at Legion Field, and then the Tampa and the Bandits and Maulers are playing back at Protective. I mean, now I don't really know how far the stadiums are from each other, but I mean, would you go from one stadium to the next, then back to the other stadium? I mean, how would you do that? Or would you see, like me, if I'm me, here's what I would do. Let's say that I'm at that Houston Gambler and Panthers game, right? Okay, I'm already out there tailgating, right? And let's just say that the Philadelphia game and the Breakers game is at Legion Field, right? Well, I'm going to go back out into the parking lot since my ticket will get me into the game again. I'm going to go back out in the parking lot and tailgate till 8 o'clock. I mean, would you guys do that, or would you drive to the other stadium to see the game if that's how they're going to do it?
I don't know. I would, because you got to consider the weather too. It's getting hot, now in the South. Mm-hmm. So I'd be like, am I going to have the energy to go to the other stadium to watch another game? I would have to be a fanatic to do that. I know how I am. I'll watch the game at Progressive Field, and then I'll say, okay, do I want to take that trip all the way up north to whatever, like Legion Field? I don't know. I'm very picky.
Yeah,
okay.
I think
John,
also,
what would you do?
I think a little bit of it, like you said, if you're tailgating, if you're tailgating, some
Frankie,
people.
Yeah, I hear him. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, there you go. Okay, I can hear you.
So I think some people, when they if you did not tailgate, then I think you could make all 3, especially if the first game is a little out of hand, if it's 28-3 and 8 minutes left or whatever, maybe you just text Uber and see if you can get a lift real quick over to the other stadium. Then you can always come back and get your car later. But I think if you're a big tailgater and you've got your table still out and all that other stuff, well, then you probably just going to want to, like you said, just tailgate for another 2-3 hours and then come back in. You know what I mean? Nowadays, people probably have the electronic device to be able to watch that second game from their tailgate spot. You know what I mean? So it's not like you'd have to miss it unless this is some serious bucket list thing of yours, see 3 pro games in a day live. You know what I mean? I think I would save the little extra money it would take to get me to all 3.
Okay. All right. Now, we're sitting here, and as you look at everything that's going on, like I said, we're just less than a week away. Where'd my producer go? He's slacking on the job.
He disappeared on us. He
did. As you look, it's funny that they're already saying that there are certain people that are odds-on favorites to win the championship, right?
Bandits.
So the Bandits and the Panthers are the number 1 and 2 teams as the odds-on favorites to win the USFL championship. And I guess that's because of their head coaching. And I mean, if you look at it, they probably did have, by the players that we know, and John, you had even said it, those were the 2 teams that probably had the best drafts out of all of the teams that we have, right? See, now Jared says he hates the preseason rankings in general, which I agree. I mean, this is a league that we haven't seen anything of, but based on what these guys are saying and the coaches that we know, would you guys say that those are the top 2 teams that could possibly be in the championship game?
I don't like preseason.
John's got no food in his mouth. Let's see if he can go first before he starts stuffing his fat face.
I think everybody's starting at ground zero here, and the difference in talent-wise is not. I mean, I don't really think any one particular team had a better draft than any other, to be honest with you. We're talking about Division 2 and 3 and FCS players for the most part. And I mean, the parity between those 3 levels of football is very, very slim. Even the bottom half of the FBS for that matter, outside of the Power 5, the parity level is very, very close in college football. So I just think it's going to be whichever team buys into their coach and executes, the play calls the best, you know what I mean? But I think, as we get moving here, everybody's going to be 4-6 or 6-4 when this is all said and done. So how much better is, one team or the other? Usually one team kind of looks like the cream. We had the Apollos, and then of course we had the Roughnecks, looked like they were just far and away kind of better than everybody, but we never saw the end of the season. So, and the Apollos did lose a game. So, we'll see what happens. Like I said, whichever coach can keep it simple in training camp and move from one thing of practice to the next smoothest, I think is going to be the most ready to play.
All right. Frankie, what do you think?
I agree because of the fact that right now, look, I remember when the USFL, the original USFL back in 1983, before they even kicked off, it's the Chicago Blitz that's going to win the championship because George Allen has the best players. And it turned out to be Philadelphia Stars and the Michigan Panthers. And then Blitz, the following year, they made it to the championship game and lost to the Stars. I don't believe in preseason hypes or preseason predictions because it never works out. I pretty much know once the middle of the season comes, you'll pretty much know who are the leading horses in the league and which team is going to make it and which team is going to fall back. I just wait till week 5, week 6. That's when I find out.
All right. Now, here's an interesting stat. So the USFL announced earlier this week, actually on March 29th. So, yeah, earlier this week that they just hit the 500,000 followers. So it seems like they're going to have a good turnout for that first game, at least 500,000 people are going to watch that first game. So, I mean, to be honest with you, that's really not that bad of a TV rating for spring, for football, to have 5,000, viewers, at least 5,000, because that's the followers that are going to watch it. What are your guys' expectations for that first week? How many do you think are going to watch it? I'll say at least 1.2 for that first Friday night game. That's what I'm going to go with. What's your guys' take on that?
I believe it's going to be higher because you're going to have curious people. Remember, it's on 3 different networks. So
yep.
I believe people are going to be curious. They're going to tune in, and they're either going to say, yep, I love it, or nah, forget it, move on. The TSL, the Spring League, had decent ratings. And that was without fans. I believe that this people will want to, as long as the quality is good, it's a decent product, I believe people will continue watching, because I was watching the TSL. It's just I hated it without fans.
Mm-hmm. Okay. John?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be pretty consistent with the other spring leagues that have come and gone. I mean, I think people are going to want to see, how is Fox calling this game? How do the graphics look around the, score at the bottom, time left, and how many timeouts they got and all this other stuff. Does it look like watching an NFL game? And I think that's, kind of what people are looking for is it professional, or am I just watching some, my God, I watch YouTube videos of some of these European leagues and the LFA in Mexico and things like that. And it's just like, God, they got a lot of work to go. They got a long way to go before they're stepping into the 21st century. So I think as long as they can do that, they'll be consistent with the previous leagues. And I think that's all they're hoping for, honestly. Week 1 is, can we just, is it going to look like every football fan died all of a sudden and nobody wanted to watch? And I don't think that's the case. They're on major networks. So I think they'll be all right.
All right. This is the Pro Football Alliance Show. I am your host, Dirty. Joining me tonight is John Turner and Frankie. We are brought to you by Pack 22. And you saw call Matt Eddington. As you saw, his numbers scroll right on by right there. Also, we are fueled by Cafe Piazza. And I don't know why we still have the phone line in there, because for some reason we check it and then it doesn't work. So screw the phone line. I don't even care. We sent the link out. So if you want to join us, you could click on that link. You'll be able to join us live and we'll put you on the show. There it is. Matt Eddington. Call him first at 72745-22645 to start your account today. Now, John, you brought up a good point about the Tizine and all of that good stuff, right? So, in case you both have missed it, which I don't know, I doubt you guys have, the USFL has brought back Kurt Menefee and Joe Klatt, who were apparently Fox's lead broadcasters for the XFL. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I did not like the Fox's broadcast. I thought it was terrible for the XFL. Nothing against either one of those two guys. I like Kurt Menefee. I don't like Joe Klatt. But they are going to be calling the first game for the league. What is your guys' take on that? Do you think that's a good combination to have them guys, those two being the first two guys to call that first game? Who wants to go? We'll go with John since he's not.
Menefee's pretty good. I mean, he's got a pretty distinguishable voice. The other guy, Klatt, I can't really remember what he sounds like, but obviously Menefee is a professional. You know what I mean? So if he's going to be calling a game, it's going to be called like a regular old pro game. So I don't know what your particular beef was with Fox's broadcast. I mean, other than what's the tight end that came from the Panthers that did some games for them? He went to Miami.
Greg Olsen.
Other than Greg Olsen kind of being a rookie on the job, I still think he did pretty good. So I don't know like what your main issues were with Fox. But like
he don't like Kurt Menefee, and I'm sick of him talking bad about Kurt Menefee, man. Like, damn, dog, he's actually pretty good, man.
I think he's pretty quick. He doesn't miss any plays. He doesn't miss any movements. You know what I mean?
I'm the host. Here's what's happening. Everybody's getting mute because you guys are making me mad. I love being the host. Arlington has no control. He's the producer. Shut up, Frankie. That you're getting muted because of that dumb haircut that you got. I'm sorry. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. Idiots all in the world. No, I didn't like the entire Fox broadcast. Don't be eyeballing me. Don't be side-eyeing me down there in that corner. I just didn't like the whole broadcast of Fox. I liked ESPN's broadcast better. That was my only thing. And Arlington will say, I didn't like the Fox's broadcast as much. I'm trying to unmute you. Quit muting yourself. There you go. I didn't like it. I didn't like the whole
presentation.
Fox broadcast.
The presentation.
Yeah, it wasn't that they did a bad job. It was just I didn't like their presentation, like I did ESPN's.
They copied off of, if you saw it very easily, copied off of the Super Bowl. When they did the Super Bowl, and I think it was Kansas City and Tampa. Was it not? Yeah, Kansas City and Tampa. Yeah. They did that broadcast off of that. It was fine. You know, you got a chance to magnify and see. You didn't like the cartoon figures that they put out there, man? You didn't like to see that? That was actually pretty cool, man. There's nothing wrong with that kind of stuff.
I want them to do the Nickelodeon broadcast.
I don't get when you talking about Fox and you want them to do Nickelodeon. Yeah, you are a kid in a grown man's body.
I like Menifee, and I actually enjoyed the XFL on ABC more than I did on Fox, but I thought they did a decent job. I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. I just think, to me, the announcers, especially from ESPN, didn't buy into this XFL thing. Like, you can tell they were kind of going through the motions in a bit, like, oh, I have to do this. And so I kind of felt like, oh, it's the XFL, it's beneath me. That's the way I felt on some of these announcers. I get
that. I just liked, right here, Michael said it best right here, though. Nothing was as bad as the AAF NFL Network broadcast. Yes, you're absolutely. That was one of the worst broadcasts. That's like, listening to certain podcasts out here, how terrible they are. I digress. I'm sorry. I digress.
Hey, I can't blame you, because just so you know, a message to all the other podcasts out there that do these sports podcasts: can you at least change it up a bit? Because after 1 minute, I get bored. So even I don't like listening to myself for so long. I'm just being honest.
John, would you like to chime
in? What exactly was the question?
Right.
Just stop, John. Just stop. Don't say a word, John. Don't say a word, because you'll get us kicked off Facebook. Just
go back
just
to
be
bed.
Good, John.
Go back to sleep.
Just sit there and be good, John. Just sit there and be good. Don't say a word, John. Just sit there and be a good boy. Okay.
Just pose.
All right. All right.
Stop doing John like that, man.
First.
I don't even let y'all do him like that. That's my boy, man. Don't you sit there and do him like that.
He loves to pose.
I know. Right. Anyway, so let's get back to it. It's funny because
what I think would be nice if they could get Peyton Manning, the Manning boys, to call a game. I think that would really help the league out. Now, they were doing that through ESPN, and that's, as of now, not one of their broadcasting partners. But last I checked, I thought Amazon was really going to try to make a push to get them to come over, and Bezos will do whatever he wants. So I think that something like the Manning brothers. I think the XFL had it right, getting Pat McAfee out there in some way, but then he had a disagreement and he left after the first week or two or whatever. And I think that's why he's kind of hating on him a little right now. But
it's funny that he would hate on him.
Hold on.
It's funny that he would hate on him, but he worked for the same company for the dude that was over the XFL. That's funny to me.
Right. Well,
I find that very hilarious.
Hold on. So, if you listen to the Pat McAfee interview on his show, right, that he did with Vince McMahon, the reason why McAfee left the XFL, was talked about very shortly, was that the coaches and players didn't like how they got up into his business, And Pat was like, well, that's what I was hired to do. And if I can't do that, fuck you, I'm gone. That's basically what he did. And that's why he walked away. And that's why Vince gave him the job at SmackDown. Is basically how that transpired with McAfee. Which
I think
I thought McAfee was probably.
I think a good move would be to have The Rock on his podcast, and during that interview, they say, "We're going to have you come back to the XFL and let the guy do whatever. Let him do whatever the hell he wants, man. He's a pretty entertaining guy, and I think that's what the league needs: is more entertainment."
Hell, he should announce it on the Pat McAfee show. Honestly.
That's what I'm saying. The Rock should go on. The Rock should go on the
Pat McAfee show and announce everything for tomorrow. Not just
that's what I was kind of saying.
Yeah. That would have been dope. If they would have pulled that one off.
I know another show that The Rock can come on, but he doesn't have the cojones to come on
that
show.
Shut up.
It's called the show that Wednesday night. It's
called
the
XFL get fired show. At the end of this. Swear you're gonna get fired at the end of this. And we're gonna be doing
a giant special with the Pro Football Alliance show. With all of our people from the Pro Football Alliance, we're doing a very special show tomorrow. The Rock could come on there and announce it, but he ain't got the cojones to do it. Just saying.
Shut up.
I just can't do it. I just can't do it.
Shut up.
You know what's funny, guys?
I'm gonna get off, man, because I'm gonna turn into that other show for tomorrow. How
is my producer? How is our producer sitting here telling the host to shut up? We need to fire the producer and get a new one.
Going back to the Manning brothers, John, I don't know if you remember, they talked about that their broadcast had higher ratings than the ESPN Monday Night Football one.
Yes, all the time.
Yes. So what after John Gruden left, because I thought John Gruden was entertaining. After John Gruden left and they just started putting people in the booth, I just watched the Manning brothers just for a few minutes, see what it was about. And it's true, they're entertaining. I think the XFL, even the USFL should have something similar to, because it's all about entertainment, guys. If you can't keep those eyeballs on that TV screen, you're done. It's over. And
right
so,
now, Frankie. No, finish your point.
No, that's it.
Oh, I'm glad you said entertainment, because now the USFL has announced that they are doing a weekly Hard Knocks type show about the USFL, which I think this is finally good that these people are starting to get into this. And just like right here what Jared said right here, John Turner, more entertainment, nicknames on the back of the jerseys, and wrestlers as players. Yes, John. Okay. That's John. Do you know that idiot? Did you know this idiot?
Jared?
Yeah. Idiot.
He's a sweetheart.
He's an idiot. Dumb question. I just can't do it. I'm sorry. I just can't do it. Right here, and Matt says, I think that one of these spring leads would be a great test market for broadcast on services such as HBO Max, Netflix, Disney Plus. It'd be a new, unique, and talk about it everywhere. I completely agree with that. And I think this is what it's all good, Jared. I don't care if you're trolling, troll all you want. You're just an idiot with an idiot question, and I'll call you an idiot. It's cool. Troll all you want. That's what this show's about. It's about the fans. We don't care. Frankie, do you care if we got a fan that trolls us?
I don't care. Hey, listen, controversy creates cash. Remember that.
You're watching.
A famous
that's all
man
that matters.
once said that.
That's right. If you're watching, that's all that matters to us, right, guys?
Yeah. You can hate on me all the time. Hate my haircut. Hate everything. Hate John's profiles. I don't care. It's all good.
We're actually going to get into that one. I actually think that the USFL is actually starting to do something good with this hard knock life type of show. I think it would get people interested, get us to know more of these players. What's your guys' take on that
one? I agree. We need to know who the players are, because I only know a few. And for me, one thing when it comes to the AAF, if you remember, I was like, who's in this league? Yes, Steve Spurrier is the coach, but who is in this league? And I didn't get into it as much as I thought the quality was good. I didn't get into it because I didn't know who the players were, and I sadly, I watched the San Diego Fleet one time, and it was boring, so I turned it off. I did watch Birmingham Bolts. I did watch. I forgot the other team. But it just I didn't know the players. That was my problem.
Right. Yeah. Well, unless you're like the guy next to me right here who lives and breathes, eats, sleeps, and shits football, you know these players. I mean, John, what do you think for the fans that watch football but don't know it and research it like you? I mean, what do you think? What do you think that the Hard Knock Lifestyle show is actually a good thing for the USFL?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely imperative that you get into some of the personalities that are driving this league, and I guess they're going to err on Fox to that previous guy that said, maybe it's a good idea for HBO Max and Netflix and things like that. I think it would be even better if this type of show landed on one of those, because then it could be, unedited. Meaning you get some F-bombs here and there and all that. But if it's on Fox, we're not going to get any of that. It's going to be, PG-13 or whatever. Well,
so here, I'll go back to it again. Right here, he says, Mike says HBO Max, Netflix, or Disney Plus. Disney Plus, I don't think you'll get any kind of F-bombs. I think more would be here with HBO Max, Netflix, Amazon, maybe, Hulu, maybe. Would be a good spot for that type of show.
Yeah, and I think it's a great idea to, like I said, get to know these guys, and like I was talking about it earlier, these a lot of these guys come from smaller schools, and talk about that, because I mean, they have a tendency when calling these games on the air to say, "Oh yeah, so and so he had a couple of tryouts with Team X and Y in the NFL, spent a cup of coffee on the practice squad, and now here he is trying to get back into the big league, and showcase his skills." Instead of just talking about them like they're professional football players that went to college and were good enough to get drafted and signed up by a professional football team. Why have to belittle the players and the coaches? It's like, oh, they couldn't quite hack it in the big league, so here they are. That's kind of how I feel when I listen to them. It's really
so. John, what's the Jacksonville Jaguars excuse if they have so many? If the NFL has so many great players,
they made a poor decision at coach. That
team is pathetic. Now I hear the owner is getting into trouble because of he shut down the Black Network and other stuff. I mean, it's ridiculous.
That what seems network? A joke. What is this? Huh? But there it is. Either way it goes, guys. Just to end it with the whole Hard Knocks type of thing. It's something that they should do, and I'd like to see them even kind of, the reference a play that they drew up that worked during the game, and then maybe go back and show them practicing that play previously.
United by Football, it's called United by Football.
Right, United by Football. Football. See, Jared actually asked an intelligent question. He's not being an idiot with his dumb question the first time. He actually asked a good one. As XFL 2020 fans, we really wanted that Hard Knock programming. The USFL listens. So he's saying that the USFL listened to the fans. And he's want to know, we're all wondering why wasn't Luis Perez picked up the first draft and getting him now that Ben Holmes is hurt? It's a good question. There's a lot of players that they didn't bring into the league. Why didn't they? I mean, we've talked about that. I mean, do you guys think it's a smart move to bring in? I mean, maybe.
I think perhaps the XFL has probably reached out to some players that were there 2 years ago and says, "Hey, if you can wait and play for us, we'll throw you an extra $5 or $10 grand or something like that." And by now a lot of those players have 40-hour-a-week jobs more than likely, and they're willing to wait.
Are you speculating?
That's just what I think probably happened.
All right, you're shaking your head.
I just think I don't know. For me, one advantage that the USFL has this season is that a lot of AAF and XFL players are in the league, so I'll be able to recognize them because after all the two previous leagues shut down, I can at least say, yeah, Luis Perez, I know him. I've seen him play. What's the guy from the guy that in Europe, the running back? That's a big
Mondre.
Yeah, that guy I'm looking forward to watching because he seems to be a big deal. So I'll be watching. I am a USFL fan. I missed it, and to bring it back, just the nostalgia and the names, even though it's not the same way. For me, I can tell right now, my YouTube channel for USFL Forever went from 4,000 and change, and I'm almost at 6,000 subscribers. So from the time it was announced, and so, and then every day I get more and more comments every day. It used to be I get a few comments every week. Now it's 8, 9, 10 comments a day. So, and I try to keep up with it, of course. But I'm glad it's back. I'm glad that, and I can't wait. Hopefully, we make it through the first season. I can't wait till they go to their own cities and we start expanding to some West Coast teams as well. I'm looking forward to the USFL. The only thing is that I wish they would honor the players of the past. And by the way, me and Dirty are working on something for that.
We are working on something like that.
I don't think they can right now.
You don't think what, John?
I don't think they can right now, Frankie. I think this whole lawsuit thing, I think the former players are likely on the side of the league's argument on this, the old league, versus the Fox side. So I think once that's over,
all I want to do is see 45 show up. That's all I want to do is see 45 show up.
Oh, God.
That's all I want to do.
I'm surprised he hasn't commented on the USFL coming back.
I know, right? Here you go. So, right. Mike's got a question. Biggest surprise, Luis Perez just being signed or Eli Rogers being a no-show? And then Mondre London will make some noise too. What's the bigger surprise?
Who's Eli
Perez
Rogers?
being signed?
I'll look him up real quick. Honestly,
I think it's Luis Perez being signed. Eli Rogers played in the XFL.
What team?
He was at, remember, but I know he was there.
Because I don't remember no Eli Rogers, and I'm sorry, but you talk about
Arlington.
Jordan Tamu.
Yeah, that's right. He was a wide receiver. Yeah, DC receiver. Yeah. He was like second.
I remember him. Yeah, I don't
he was like
him.
second.
I saw DC, whatever their name was. I saw a game on ABC, but I don't remember Eli Rogers.
Yeah, right. Him not showing up. I mean, his agent might have said, "Hey, I've been talking to the Panthers or whatever, and they're gonna look to see they've got so and so going in for an MRI to see if he needs surgery. If he does need surgery, they've let me know that they'd like to bring you in, for a depth, a spot at a depth chart. You know what I mean? Back into the wide receiver.
Is he pulling an Antonio Brown? Hey, I'll sign with whatever team, and then I'll get surgery.
All right, so here you go. So, Frankie, I have a question for you. What do you think of the locations of the USFL picks? No Western cities and a Midwestern either. Isn't Michigan part of the Midwest?
Yes, but listen, I explained this on my USFL Forever Facebook page. I explained this. Fox is starting out slowly. They're going to expand to they know they're going to expand to the West Coast teams, but first they want to start with North and South. I explained that after the first season, as long as it's successful, at least half of the teams will be in their own cities, and then they'll decide what they're going to do. Okay, they're going to pick up, for example, the Arizona Wranglers, or is it the Arizona Outlaws? Los Angeles Express, there's the Denver Gold. They got all these trademarks. They will expand to the West Coast, but first, let's get through the first season. I agree with it. I would have loved the 12 teams, like originally when it first happened. The what is it? The North, the Atlantic, the Central, and the West, something like that. Whatever the name of the divisions were.
Right.
Back in '83, I would have loved to have them do that, but again, it's cost effective right now to just start small. And those that criticize it, look, at the end of the day, I'd rather have Fox running it than Charlie Embersall, who should be in jail. I'm going to say that every week. Charlie Embersall should be, he's an imbecile. That man should be in jail for fraud, period.
Yeah, I think you want the cities to come to you. If you can show and prove year one that you're a legit football league and get a 1.5, 2 million viewers a game down the stretch, put on a good show for a championship game or something like that, then you could have a city that has gone a while without sports, maybe Oklahoma, or, you know what I mean? Boston's pretty cold right now still. So I don't think we would have gotten the Boston Breakers as an inaugural team, but that doesn't mean that some, colder places can't get teams. Oklahoma, like you said, Denver, Oakland, you know what I mean? Yeah, Portland might want to get in the mix if they can stop burning their own city down over there.
Hey, keep the politics out. Keep the politics out.
Okay. But it's
well,
there
Kyle, he's not real happy with Eli Rogers.
Well, Eli, like I said, Eli Rogers, maybe he didn't like the contract. He didn't, he didn't think much of it, and he's going to hold out. And
maybe not.
Maybe the Canadian League said, "Hey, we'd like to have you come back and try out for the Argos or something like that," and he makes a little bit more money over there.
Preseason will be next month. The training camp will be next month, and then preseason in June. And I believe July is when the season starts, because I'm a Canadian Football League fan. I love Canadian football, but.
And we'll be talking about that as the show progresses more.
One thing I have to tell you guys, Fox made a smart move. They could have started their own league with different names, but think about it. It was a smart move to get the trademarks, to get the league, the USFL to come back, because people remember it. And even the newer generations will say, oh, yeah, I've heard about that. My father told me. But can anybody say you remember the San Diego Fleet? I mean, I'm sorry, man. I when I remember San Antonio. I forgot what they called themselves. Sorry, when the AAF came out. No, they were San Antonio Commanders, something like that.
They were the Commanders.
Thank you.
They were the Commanders.
How many people remember? And let's be honest. Do you remember the Detroit Wheels from the WFL? Do you remember the Continental Football League? Do you remember even the first XFL 1.0? You might remember Vince McMahon and his wrestling thing. But guys, the USFL is the only league that people remember because it was the one league that truly challenged the No Fun League, the monopoly of a corporation called the National Football League. It's the only
bullshit. Here we
remember. Go. And I'm being
30
honest.
seconds left, Frankie, and we're going to end it with this. This is the Pro Football Line. I have no idea why. Right here, Frankie, we're going to end it on this one right here. Jason says the nostalgia of the USFL is not as great as people think.
Go on my USFL YouTube Forever channel, and I beg to differ. The USFL brought excitement, brought fun. When you had another league that's been around for 75, 100 years that was so boring that you couldn't celebrate after a touchdown. The USFL was fun, and for anybody who thinks that the USFL didn't make an impact or that people don't remember it has no clue what they're talking about. Come to my USFL Forever YouTube channel. You'll see what I'm talking about. I get comments so many times it's hard to keep up.
No, here's what he's saying. I'm not saying there is no nostalgia.
It's the one league that everybody remembers. Tell me who remembers the WFL. Tell me who, if you go on the street, hey, you remember the AAF? What? The what? You remember the WFL? The what? Mention the USFL. Oh yeah, that was Steve Young, Reggie White, Jim Kelly, right? Yeah. Everybody remembers the USFL. It was part of my growing up.
All right. Before we get out of here, John Turney, do you got anything else you want to add?
No, I just when I was the first football team I ever played on, Wheaton Boys Club, our coach Tony Edwards went to Maryland. He played with Phil Simms, and he was in that game where Frank Reich made the big comeback against Miami. I think he was a starting left guard or right guard. He was drafted by both the NFL and the USFL, and he chose the USFL because they just, quite frankly, were paying more across the board, especially first-year players, rookie contracts, and they didn't have like this lockdown exclusive rights, kind of a thing that the NFL would just hold players hostage with. You took the salary they gave you, and then you couldn't, get out of there via trade. They'd hold on to your rights for 10 years if they wanted to, and you couldn't go anywhere or ever get a raise. And that was one of the things for a player that was more appealing, was the salaries. Now, long term, it didn't work out, but so. I don't know if that agrees or disagrees with this guy, but obviously not everybody is in love with the NFL as the majority of people are.
It's a boring product. I use it to go to sleep. That and CNN. Listen.
I thought we were going to leave politics out of it.
Hey. CNN, never mind. Listen, Dirty.
Let's go, Brandon.
Dirty and John, I got good news. Dirty, I've been in touch with a lot of NFL players to try to bring them on the show. Bob Newton, the former NFL player, Bob Newton, just contacted me and said, "Hey, sorry, I missed the show, Joe, because I sent him the link. But he was on a scheduled Zoom call at the same time. But he'd be interested to be on the guest on our show, and we can work out a schedule because he's flexible. So also Hank Bauer, former San Diego Chargers, he wants to come on the show. So guys, we're gonna have a great content coming up. And I hope you all join us. And we're going to have former NFL players. And we have a USFL special surprise for all our USFL fans. So, Dirty, if you want to say it, go ahead.
No, not yet. But tomorrow, the big show at 11 o'clock Eastern, noon Central. The XFL drops their news. I'm telling you, their news is going to be, we're dropping a new logo. That's probably going to be it. If you have anything to do with this kind of, ownership, how they have, come on, Dirty. What do you want me to drop? What do you want me to drop, Chris? Huh?
The Rock, new workout water.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But we're going to be doing a special show tomorrow with the XFL STL Talk Show and the Pro Football Alliance. You'll see a lot of the guys that you've seen on this show host. John will be there. We'll have Will there. We'll have Gabriel there. A-Train will be there. Drop it, fine. I will drop it. Coming to the show, we are going to be doing very soon. We're working out the details. A USFL alumni legend show where we're going to get former players from the alumni of the USFL. Hello, Miss Stacy. And current players on the show, talking of all old players of the USFL and new players. That show will be coming soon within the next few weeks. There you go, Chris. I dropped it for you.
I wish you would have shut up about this.
Shut up about what? God damn it.
I wish you didn't leak that just yet. Damn, you
leak.
You're fired.
Frankie told me
fired. You are fired. Don't even bother coming into work tomorrow. Don't even bother.
You're not getting a paycheck anyway, so don't come in.
Fuck. This is the Pro Football Alliance Show. I am your host, Dirty. Joining me as my panelist tonight is a John Turner from a football world. John, where can they find you?
Facebook when I'm not in Facebook jail. I troll,
which is every day.
I'm in there. I got 5 more days. I'm on Twitter though. They put me in jail too sometimes.
And right there is Frankie from a USFL Forever. Frankie, where can they find you?
USFL Forever Facebook page and USFL Forever YouTube channel, the only original channel with all the games that I edited that people stole and put on their channel years later, make it look like they did the work. So remember
Love
that.
you too, Chris. Right. And apparently we are looking for a new host for the Pro Football Alliance. So please send your resume to gofyourself.com or gofyourself at Google, gmail.com, and you can apply for my job. Other than that, I am Dirty, and we will see you guys next week. Thank you guys for tuning in. I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. We will see you guys next week.
All right, guys. Good stuff.
Hey, you there?